Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you my Walking Dead review, Season 6, Episode 3. This episode is called Thank You, and it came out on October 25th, 2015. And I'm actually looking forward to watching this episode after what happened in the last episode with the Wolves invasion and what happened there. And I actually this time made sure to look up people's names before I started this because that's actually the thing that's actually starting to get to me. I remember people's names. Um, One thing I didn't mention that did happen in the last episode is I think her name was um Lexa wasn't able to save Holly. She ended up passing. She ended up dying. So I just figured I would just point it out quickly. It was kind of a sad moment. Um, and I'm actually looking forward to watching this, seeing what happens from this point. I can't wait to see what happens in this episode. So let's do it. So I'm gonna watch it, and as it goes to commercial, I'm gonna make small videos and combine them all into a big video, and that's gonna be all fine and good. So let's start the review. Okay, so the episode kicks off with the group, Rick's group's just running in the woods trying to get a hold of these zombies because the herd's broken off, and this is a flashback because the horn's still beeping. Um, then what else happened? So yeah, they're just running off. Rick's trying to get a hold of Toby, I think his name was. But he on his walkie-talkie, but there's no answer. And one of the girls trips and ends up twisting her ankle. So Glenn helps her up, and then Heaton talks about how this is coming from the town, and one of the guys says that he did this on purpose. He's trying to. We're pretty much as good as dead. He's trying to kill us off. He killed Carter, and he brought us out here. We're pretty much as good as dead. The guy's scared, but Marshawn tells him to shut up and keep going. Um, and then Rick and Daryl gets a hold of Rick. He wants to know what's going on. He tells him that the herd broke away because of the loud horn. So Rick says, and so Daryl wants, so they're gonna go get the herd, and Daryl wants to go help them. But go to back to town and help him. But Rick says no, because him, Abraham, and Sasha still have a herd going. So Rick tells him not to do that because then if they break away from the herd, then it's just gonna break into more chaos. So he tells him to continue to lead in his herd. So he does. Um, and then Rick comes up with a plan B that he's gonna take the RV and circle him around and lure the herd away again. And then he wants Michonne and Glenn to take the rest of the group and take him back. And then he talks to them privately. He tells them no matter what to protect these people. Just if you see any zombies, just kill them. Don't hide or anything like that. Um, and Glenn wants to help him, but Rick tells him that these people probably aren't going to make it. So he tells him that if anybody to protect him with all your might, do whatever you can. Have to do to protect him. But if none of them can keep up, um, then just keep going. And Heaton actually overhears this. He's hiding behind a tree, and then one of the guys gets bitten. So then Rick pulls him off, and Michonne kills it, and but then Michonne has to kill the guy because he would he'll turn if she doesn't do that, and then the horn ends up stopping from the reason we obviously saw in the last episode. Um, and Rick said the horn stopped. You know what to do. So then Rick walks off, and then that was it. I actually liked the opening scene here. I thought it was good. Okay, so next what happens is Michonne, Glenn, Heaton, and everybody else is out in the woods, and everybody else is feeling about what's going on back in Alexandria. They're worrying about if there even is a wall there, if there's even anything there at all, and they're just worrying about what's the future hold for Alexandria at this point. So then a bunch of zombies come up, and Michonne, Heaton, and Glenn kill them, and Glenn tells the others if they need to kill zombies, not to use their guns unless they have to. So then everybody else starts killing some, and one of them shoots his gun and obviously misses. So then this causes a bunch of chaos, and they were able to kill the zombies, but then the guy that shot his gun takes off, and then a zombie sneaks up on the guy that was talking crap about Rick earlier in the episode, and but he was able to kill him, and then we find out he's been scratched, and he's like, I know what this means. That means we got to keep moving. So obviously, you know what's gonna happen to him now that he's been scratched. And then the next thing that happens is Darrow, Abraham, and Sasha are still driving off with the zombies, and they're supposed to go like 20 miles out because they're like on the highway. But Darrow wants to go back and save the people from Alexandria, and Abraham and Sasha say that they need him because then the zombies will break away if he leaves. But then Dale says, "Nah, I got faith in you," and then he takes off. And then that was it. I actually liked this. This was actually pretty good stuff so far. Okay, so the next thing that happens is the group continues to make their way to town, and obviously a lot of them are wounded. Two of them have injured legs. Well, one of them twisted their ankle, and then the other one got hurt from the zombie attack, and another person's been scratched by a zombie. I don't remember his name. And he tells them about the story about how he found his wife, how they've been married for 3 months, and they met through the apocalypse because he just felt like it was all over for him before. He was really doubting himself. He just felt like it was over. He said he didn't really feel human anymore. But then Aaron found him, brought him to Alexandria, and then he found his wife. They started out becoming friends, and then he ended up being the best thing that ever happened, and then eventually it led into more than that. And Michonne knows how he feels to feel not human anymore because we've seen Michonne in that state from the early seasons of this show. And then he says that if he wants to make it back to be able to tell his wife that she was worth all of this. Um, and then they make it their way to this town, and Glenn, and because they have to stop because one of them's starting to bleed out, and Glenn says that they could stop for a little while, but they can't stop for too long because then the herd will catch up to them. And then Glenn says that he doesn't want to leave anybody behind, and Michonne says that it's gonna be okay because they're like a half an hour ahead of the herd. And Nicholas knows this area pretty well because he's been here before. Um, One of the guys, he's been here with a couple of his guys who ended up passing away. So Nicholas leads the way through the area, and then he sees somebody hot. I think his name was Sterling, and he said that he's the one that left them behind. And then we see the zombies eating a bunch of people. We eating a bunch of zombies eating somebody who I assume was Sterling, the guy wearing the hat. Um, so then there's a bunch of zombies in the town, so they can't. They pretty much have nowhere to go, so they hide inside a building. And he didn't ask Michonne what the next plan is, and Michonne says that they can't fight him right now because they're too weak to fight him because they're in bad shape. So they said that they're gonna lead them off, and then he didn't kind of like being a smart. I was like, yeah, that worked before. And Sean says, I'm trying here, and he was like, yeah, for now. And Glenn comes up with an idea that he's gonna blow up a building, um, to distract the zombies, so that way they'll look at that so long enough for them to escape. Um, but Sean wants to do it, but Glenn said because Glenn has a wife, and he doesn't want him to pass out, well, die. But Glenn says, well, no, I want to do it. And Glenn says that if he gets stuck out, if you don't see me for a while, just leave. And if I'm still alive, I'll try to find a way to contact you if I'm stuck out here. And Glenn messages it to Rick in the walkie-talkie about his whole plan. And doing this, Rick is killing a bunch of zombies. And Rick says, and then he tells Rick, "See you later, dumbass." And then Rick kills a bunch of zombies, and he ends up hurting his hand doing this. And he ends up stealing the stuff after he kills them, and then that was it. I actually like this scene here. I thought this was good stuff. Pretty good. Okay, so the next thing that happens is the two wounded people, I don't remember their names, um want them, if it has to happen, for them to get left behind because they feel like they're slowing the group down because they're injured and they can't really do anything. Um so they want it if necessary that they have to, but Hedon doesn't want to do that. He says we never leave anybody behind, and Michonne says no, we're not leaving anybody behind. So then Michonne and Hedon talk privately, and Michonne asks if Hedon has a problem with her. And Hedon's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Hedon's like, I'm just looking out for my people. And Michonne says, and you think I'm not? And Hedon says that he heard what Rick said. Um, and Hedon says that they're not going to leave anybody behind because that's not how they'll roll. And Michonne says, Rick said what he said because sometimes you don't have a choice. And he's been out there. And he knows what this world is like nowadays, and you guys haven't. And he says he knows what he's like because he's been out on runs and stuff like that. But Marsan says, no, you don't, because you have had to kill somebody because you were afraid they were going to kill you. You haven't had to do things that made you afraid of yourself. You haven't been covered in so much blood you weren't sure if it was yours, Walker's, or your friends. So you, unless any of that stuff is happening to you, you don't know. And I thought that was great. I really liked the altercation here, because I actually was hoping it was going to get brought up, and these people really don't know what the world's like because they haven't been out there. Rick, Rashawn, and everybody else have been out there, so I liked this. I thought it was great. And then Glenn and Nicholas walking out so they can blow up the building, and they see a zombie that has a car tipped on him, and Glenn's about to kill it, but Nicholas says that it should be him because he knew this person. His name was William, and this was one of the person that they left. And Glenn says that he's not that person anymore. So then Nicholas ends up killing him. And then that guy with the scratch on his back writes a note to his wife saying, Betsy, if you are reading this, it's because I didn't make it. And he gives it to Michonne to give to her. And then Michonne writes down on her arm, you will make it home. And then the next scene that happens is, and then the walkers, we think we hear the building blowing up, but we actually hear gunshots from what happened 2 episodes. The last episode, actually, I should say. Not 2 episodes. The last episode, when the wolves and everybody in Alexandria were fighting. And this is going to be a problem because now it's attracting the zombies from across the street. So they said when they get a chance, they're going to run over to a different store. And then Rick does make it to the RV, and he ends up driving off with it. And this RV reminded me of Breaking Bad when Walter and Jesse used to cook the meth in the RV. And it looks like the exact same RV, too. I wouldn't be shocked if it was. And then the last thing that happens as we hear zombies banging on the wall. So then Michonne opens it and they kill him. And the walkers overhear this and start coming in. So they have to do something about it before the herd shows up. But the herd shows up. And ends off with Michonne saying, they're coming. So I thought this was great. I love this stuff. This was great stuff right here. Okay, so I'm like in shock right now about what just happened, but I'm going to talk about it. So, Michonne, Hedon, and the others escape from the store, and they run off from the herd. They kill off some of the zombies that were already there, and then they start running away from the herd. The person that ended up tweaking her ankle earlier in this episode ends up tripping, so she tries to shoot off some zombies, but then she ends up getting eaten, and they have to leave her because they don't have a choice. And it's actually kind of smart to do it that way because then that slows the zombies down a little bit. Um, so then Glenn and Nicholas see the zombies, and Glenn um, is telling Nicholas which way to go, but Nicholas is just losing it. He's like losing it, and he was doing this early. He did this like in the beginning of the episode as well. So then eventually he points at the right direction to go, and then Michonne, the guy that has the scratch on his back, Heaton, and the other guy that ended up getting hurt in the zombie fight, have to climb a fence to get over the to get away from the alley, away from the zombies, and Heaton and the other guys able to do it, but Michonne and the guy with the scratch on his back has some trouble. Zombies are grabbing at him, and they try to kick him off, but the zombies end up and Heaton's shooting at zombies so that way they would let go. But the guy with the scratch on his back ends up getting pulled down, and they eat him. And Michonne's able to get over. Um, and the note that he wrote Michonne, I guess she ended up dropping it because of of all the chaos that was happening. So yeah, so they just had to sit down and watch, and it was pretty heartbreaking to see this, but not as heartbreaking as what I'm about to tell you what happened. So then, um, Glenn and Nicholas um are shooting at zombies because there's like a herd of them coming, and they can't get over the fence because there's zombies over there, and there's a herd of them coming, and they're just coming. So they try to shoot at the zombies, but then they end up running out of ammo, so they have to stab them, and then they have to go up on top of this. I don't really know what it is, but this platform, and zombies are just coming at him left hand and right. And Nicholas loses it because I think these are some people that he left behind by the way he was reacting here, and you know, he's looking at their faces, and he could be because he's never really seen this world before too. He's not really exposed to it, um, so he starts losing it. So Glenn's trying to get his attention, like Nicholas, focus, and then Nicholas says, "Thank you," and then he shoots himself, and the impact and the noise, he ends up falling because he's dead, and he falls, and him and Glenn fall into the herd of zombies, and the zombies eat Glenn, and it was in slow motion. And the impact I thought was great. I thought it was just really sad though too, because we've seen Glenn since the season 1. We've seen Glenn all this time. He's been in there since pretty much the beginning. Well, it really was the beginning. He's been in this show. He's actually one of the best characters in this show. And now he's dead. He's gone. He was, I would say, he was really the real hero of the show, You could say Rick was a hero and Dale was a hero, but Glenn was a pretty big hero too, He overcome some obstacles. And I just can't believe Glenn's gone now, I'm surprised that they killed him off. That's a huge loss to the show because he's been in the show since since the beginning. He's done everything in this show. He's had a lot of good moments in this show, and now he's been written off. He's really been the brave one too, and now he's off. It's pretty sad. I didn't see that. I mean, because Glenn's always been able to find a way to get himself out of a situation like this, and I thought he was going to find a way to get himself out of a situation again, and then it didn't happen. So, I'm kind of pissed. I'm not completely mad, but I'm pissed that this happened. And the show is definitely going to be different without Glenn, I think. I don't think the show is going to be the same. Because because I even though they were kind of start because around last season he wasn't really in the show as much, but then he kind of started to be in the show a lot more, um, and I'm just kind of shocked that they wrote him off. Um, I'm not sure what he's gonna do now. Um, like obviously the actor Glenn, I don't know what his name is, but I'm not sure what's in store for him. Um, and I'm just in shock that they killed him off. I didn't see that coming. Um, I have no idea how they did this. They no, I mean I have no idea. You know, I get, but it's a shock. I'm shocked. And I can't wait to see what happens. And this isn't even the end of the episode. I've been shocked that they killed Glenn off. It's pretty shocking. I can't wait to see how the group reacts. I can't wait to see how Maggie reacts. Um, because she just lost her father and her sister in the span of 2 seasons. So this is probably gonna really make a break because Glenn's been there through all that shit. You know. So it sucks actually. I can't believe Glenn actually is off the show now. But yeah. So yeah, I thought this was amazing just because of the impact, and I love the way the slow motion looked and how gruesome it was. I thought it was great. Okay, so the next thing that happens is Michonne, that other guy, um, who can't walk now, and Hedon are walking, and they have to hold this guy up, and he can't like get to his feet now, and they have to cross the stream. But Michonne's looking for Glenn because they're making sure that there's smoke, but the smoke never comes up. But Hedon says, "Well, don't worry. Just because there's no smoke doesn't mean they didn't make it." But we know the case that they didn't make it. So then they start walking across the stream, and Michonne even sees on her that she wrote, "You're gonna make it home," but the guy didn't make it home, so obviously she's upset about that. So they start walking across the stream, and then Rick pulls up with the RV. He says that he's here. He's coming in their direction, and he says, and he tells everybody not to go back to Alexandria. Continue doing your mission, because if you go back, you're just doing it for yourself instead of for the town. Right now, this is more important. It sounds like they're able to handle it, because we still hear the gunshots going off. And then, Sasha and Abraham kind of rub it into Dale. And then, Rick's just kind of waiting. And he even tries to get a hold of Glenn, but he didn't pick up. And then, two guys come in and try to attack Rick, and they try to beat the crap out of him. But eventually, Rick grabs a gun and shoots them both and kills them. So Daryl he overhears this, and he starts riding over there with his motorcycle. And then what else happens? Rick sees two other guys through the mirror, so he shoots them, kills them too. And then Michonne, that other guy, and he didn't make it back to the town, Alexandria, and it's just destroyed into shambles, which we already knew that. So they just see that, and they just see that it's destroyed in shambles. And then Daryl makes his way back to Abraham and Sasha and continues to lead the herd. And then Rick tries to get the RV, but he can't get the RV started. And then a bunch of walkers start coming out, and then that was the end of the episode. And I love this stuff. This was great stuff. I like the attack scene with Rick and those other guys, and I liked the scene with Michonne when it came back, and I liked everything here. It was good. So overall, I actually liked this episode here. I thought it was outstanding. I think this has been the best episode of the season so far. Um, I like the stuff that happened, the altercations that Michonne and Hedon had. I liked the stuff that was going on with Nicholas. I liked the stuff that was going on when they were trying to get away from the hood, and they had to deal with the injuries, and they had to deal with the weakness, and you were wondering because you knew not everyone was gonna make it. Um, so you were wondering who was gonna make it. I like the stuff. with Rick. Um, and love the stuff with Nicholas. I mean, they killed off Glenn in this episode. I think that's a pretty. I mean, I'm not saying like just because somebody dies that makes it for a good episode, but it's a pretty impactful episode because they killed off a huge character in this episode. So I actually thought this episode was outstanding. I thought they had a lot of good action in it, and I thought they had a lot of good storyline. Um, and I thought it was great. I really enjoyed this episode. So that's pretty much it, guys. You can click down below to subscribe to my channel for future content, and you can subscribe and follow all my other stuff in the description box down below. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do another one, either tonight, well today, because it's like 1 in the morning, or tomorrow, well when I wake up. But I'll let you know. But that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.